one of the major things that I think are really important to talk about, and I don't think a lot of people do talk about, especially when it comes to your content, but this applies to anything you create. So content's a very all-encompassing word, but anytime you're making anything that's designed to push your products or explain your services or something to a person who's a qualified or interested buyer, the ideal candidate, that is technically content. Now that could be an ad, that could be a social post, that could be just about anything under the sun, right? That qualifies under that, under those definitions. But there is a model that I think is very quick and very easy. I want to give you the quick win. And that's, that's what we'll talk about today. This content is designed to give you the quick win, which dives directly into the model you can be using when you are creating content, which is the who, what, and why model. Now, always think who, what, and why. Now, let's break those down. The who. When someone looks at content, and this is as your point of view as a content creator, be using this exact method. Who is this for? So when someone's reading this, they don't have to ask that question, because if they're delivered the content, it should be for them. Now, you can see why this is important is because if you don't have a clear who in mind, an ideal candidate, now ideal meaning who is most likely to convert to whatever the next step would be. It doesn't always mean a purchase, but who is the ideal candidate to advance down the path to purchase? Who is this for? It's that simple. Draw it out, call, whatever you need to do, give them a name, give them, some basic socioeconomic stuff like that gives them an idea of their purchasing power. We talked about that yesterday on the program of the Case of the Mondays podcast, but who is this for? The what, and I'm going to put a twist on this. The what in this situation is what's in it for them. That's all anyone really cares about. So some of my mentors have said that's number one. I disagree. And I could make the case and sit here and argue, but I'm going to keep this nice and short and actionable. But I think first, before anyone cares what's in it for them, they have to know it's actually for them, because what's in it for them only makes sense predicated on the fact that they know it's for them, right? So who is it for? What's in it for them? When you're writing content, the number one thing, which should be why are they, the number three thing we're going to talk about is why. But when you're thinking what's in it for them, what I want to push this, and this is the different take on it, is the quick win. What's in it for them should be designed around this idea of what's the immediate positive outcome or tangible, actionable. What's the immediate thing they're going to do from this content? You consuming this content, your quick win is you're going to be creating some form of content today. You're going to be writing a post, even an email, some sort of customer feedback. You're going to be doing something in which you're talking about your product or services, right? That's content. When you make your content, the quick win from this actual information you're receiving right this second is you're going to be able to right then and there plug and play. I'm giving you the 3-step process to plug and play. That's the quick win. So when you're creating content, the quick win should be what is the immediate result they're seeing. And it's immediate. Why I focus on quick win is because your ability to institute long-term change is only as good as your ability to show immediate feedback. And a lot of people, if they don't understand what you're doing, this already seems a little bit difficult. Content creation is very hard. It's a very rough subject. And so if you're trying to push people further down a path and push, there's going to be some resistance. In all likelihood, they're going to look for a reason to not do it, right? So you have to find a way to make it valuable. And if you've ever done anything, if you've ever done a diet plan, that's why a lot of diet plans, which are smart, focus on what's the quick win. Early on in your program, you'll cut water weight. Well, water weight's really easy to cut, right? It's going to go away. It's the extra weight beyond the water weight that's hard, but the quick win's already there. You've seen results. You're bought in. You're sold. Get the person, the ideal client, sold on the content, the information that you're pushing. And if you don't give them a quick win, they have no reason to stick around and do it, right? What's in it for them? What's the quick win for them? And then your long-term goal, which ultimately whatever you're talking about is probably going to be hard to do, difficult to do, right? If you're someone who's a brand or a consultant or anyone, if you're pushing something, let's assume that it's a good product. And to have the maximum results, it's going to take some time. Otherwise, right, everyone would be really good at everything and they'd have everything and they wouldn't need you. So, of course, it's going to take some time and going to be difficult, but you've got to get them a quick win. And the why should they do it? Now, where the why differs from the what So the who is who's it for. The what is the quick win, to recap. The why is a little bit different than the quick win in that you're going to be focusing from your perspective, talking about the benefits beyond. So it's going to be, now we're going to be touching on the value. So the benefits beyond, what's on the surface? What's the immediate thing they see? But talk about the benefits beyond, because that's how the consumer will assign value. And that's how we as branders and marketers, and if you're pushing your product, that's how you can start to help ascribe value to your product on behalf of your consumer, because the value of what you're selling or what you're doing. They don't yet see that. And it's really hard for people to be bought into something they don't see or understand, and it's not tangible. You have to make it valuable. So don't talk in terms of the key features. Features are a very bad thing to sell in most situations unless you have someone who's an extreme expert. I use the example of the cell phone battery. Unless you're someone who's a huge techie or someone who has an immediate need to know on cell phone batteries, selling your cell phone based on its battery life is very stupid. You would say things like, okay, you're an international traveler. Wouldn't it be nice to not have your phone die while you're sitting in China, or you're on a flight for, an international flight? Wouldn't it be nice to have access to your phone and do your work? I'm just taking it from that perspective. You get the point. Talk about the benefits beyond the features. What's it going to relate? The quick win times 10. What's well beyond, let's say they implement your product, your services, whatever, your information. What are they going to see in their life? So it's basically, quick win was number 2. Long win is the why. So if the what is the quick win, the long win, so to speak, is the why. Think about the value that your stuff is going to have in their life in the long term, and speak to that. In order to do steps 2 and especially step 3, you got to know step 1. You can't talk about, like in the instance of the cell phone. You see how I went to international travelers? Well, let's say it's on an international business professional and I don't know my who. I don't know who the ideal client is. Someone's going to be like, I'm an entrepreneur who works from home on the digital services. I don't know what you're talking about. This product isn't for me. So if you don't get it right, all 3 steps, your content's going to fail. But if you just follow those 3 steps, who, what, why, who's it for, what's in it for me, quick win, why should I use this? Value-based approach to marketing and branding and services. So who, what, why, institute that model. And I promise you'll see the results. You'll see better results than what you're getting. And if you're already doing this, try to, go deeper in all 3. There's always ways to take this further and further. Go deeper in all 3. And if you do that, you will see some gains from that. So hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, reach out to me, Nick Williams at DeepBridgeConsulting.com. Love providing this stuff for you, and I will keep doing it. So thanks for checking this out, and stick around for more. Thanks, guys.